Stimulant encourages healthier eating, supports weight gain, and improves BMI, perfect for both adults and children. Only Apetamin contains lysine, an essential amino acid that boosts appetite, builds muscle, supports growth, and aids calcium absorption. Take control of your appetite and reach your weight gain goals with Apetamin. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Can you do this?
Looking for a smart way to grow your savings? For just a limited time, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Credit Union is offering competitive fixed deposit rates of up to 4%. That's up to 4% guaranteed when you invest with PCU Fixed Deposit. Visit any of our locations in Barataria, Arima, San Fernando, or Tobago to get started today. For more details, visit policecreditunion.com or call us at 6124-PCU. PCU, your future is safe with us.
Hey, man. Where are you? Okay. He said 5 minutes. Anyone want dessert? Maybe he's stuck at the office?
Surprise!
Not yet, Carl.
Bro, I'm literally at the altar right now.
Relax. I'm almost there.
We're like the friend who isn't always late.
You have the rings.
CG United. Good like that.
पगड़ी ही उछाल दी देख बे के पहले हमारी आंखें काहे न बंद हो गई।
चल छोड़िए सब बात, आप दूध पीजिए।
Uteran. Love, secrets, and surprises. Watch Uteran weekdays at 6 p.m. on CNC3. Get the story first. Want to know what's happening in news, sports, or crime? Get the CNC3 app. As the story breaks, CNC3 is there giving you the story first on your mobile device. Be connected to the most trusted and reliable news source, CNC3. Access your world with just a tap. The CNC3 app. Download it today. This season, Ask the Doctor is at a new time. It's your weekly prescription for trusted medical advice. In the Doctor's Capsule, Dr. Tilak Singh breaks down big health topics clearly and simply. Get a dose of smiles in the Kiddies Capsule as our youngest experts share health tips with heart. Explore the science behind the headlines in Medical Minds, featuring real doctors, real insight, and your questions matter. Join the open forum live and get answers straight from the source. Ask the Doctor, every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
So dizzy. I think I'm gonna be sick.
Oh. Caleb, are you okay? Oh my God, are you all right?
Cal! I need help! Cal!
Jackson?
Hey.
What's wrong?
It's Caleb. He's like really...
Where is he now?
It's not far. Come on, I'll show you.
Lead the way.
Be sure to catch Sullivan's Crossing, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. only on CNC3.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. It's Monday morning, and that's how you know it's time for the Bourse Report with Sarud Ramkilawan. Good morning. How are you going?
Good morning, Kijan, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and welcome to the Bourse Report. Well, today we're taking a quick look at what's taken place in the first quarter of a very eventful equity and financial markets overall, both at the regional and international levels. Now, there was a lot of activity taking place, again, driven in large part by geopolitical events and developments. In fact, let's take a look at what would have occurred and what investors might expect as we continue deeper into 2026. On the local front, for that first quarter of 2026, very similar reading to the past few years in terms of overall market movement, with the Trinidad and Tobago Composite Index in that purplish color declining 1.4%. Comprising that Trinidad and Tobago Composite Index, of course, is the cross-listed index, which includes cross-listed securities across the Caribbean, select cross-listed securities, that is, as well as the All Trinidad and Tobago Index. The All Trinidad and Tobago Index in that bluish color down 2.2%, while the cross-listed index actually advanced just about 0.7% for that first quarter period. Now, although it has been fairly similar performance to the past few comparable first quarters of activity and market direction, there were quite significant movements or variations in terms of stocks and their individual performances in terms of the major advances and decliners over that first 3-month period. On the positive end of things, TTNGL was up a whopping 202%. Of course, they move ultimately to change their, for special amendments and special resolutions to change the capital structure and resume dividend payments, rather, would have led to a resurgence in that particular stock price. Ultimately, TTNGL recently declaring a special dividend of $1 per share, and that expectation would have, of course, driven that stock price up over the past few weeks. National Enterprises Limited also up a whopping 86%, improving quite significantly on the heels of, again, that improved local to domestic energy production output, as well as geopolitical developments, which would ultimately read down to the benefit of some of its investee companies. Flipdeco advancing 51%, Guardian Media Limited up 9.7%, and GMMB Group Limited up 6.6%. Also, on the other end of things, in terms of decline, as we can see, that LG Williams B was down 13.6%, Answer Merchant Bank down 14%, Answer Angostura Holdings rather down 14.6%, Answer Macau with continued absence of dividends down 15.3%, and ES Bridance Holdings moderating perhaps a bit in terms of its performance relative to stock price, down 26.3% over that first quarter period. When we take a look at overall activity by volume and value on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, there has been modest improvement in terms of traded values, with traded value over the comparable quarters improving just about 13 to 14% from 180 million TT dollars traded in that period of January to March 2025 to just about 205 million over that period, January to March 2026. Traded volumes are improving near 50% from 21 million shares traded to just about 34 million shares overall. Turning to the international side of things, well, it has been quite a choppy market and choppy market performance, rather, over this first quarter. Most recently, well, we took it to the middle of April. In terms of market performance for U.S. equity markets, with the S&P 500 declining as much as around 8 to 9%, but recovering subsequently to break even just negative 0.3% overall. And of course, this has been driven in large part by developments in the Middle East, with ongoing conflicts and tensions, and subsequently the prospect of recovery and resolution. And of course, over the weekend, negotiation talks between Iran and the U.S. would have taken place with no conclusive outcome as yet, and that will probably lead to another leg down in international markets as the weeks go by. In terms of sector performance, we can see that dislocation in energy markets and the Middle East has led to a significant outperformance in the energy sector on the U.S. S&P 500, followed by materials and industrials. Energy up 28.2%, materials up just about 14%, industrials and utilities up between 10 to 11%, and not surprisingly, on the flip side, consumer discretionary down 6%. Of course, that would be impacted by inflation expectations, as well as financials down 6.3%, again attributable to significant dislocation in energy markets and the impact on overall financial health of several companies, of course. When we take a look at the broader regional impact, regional ETF impact, we can see that compared to the first quarter of 2024 and 2025, in 2025 and 2026 rather, in that first quarter of 2025, U.S. markets were down just about 14%, again driven in 2025 by tariff tantrums. And in 2026, again, that market performance has been largely attributable to that Middle East conflict. Looking at Asia ex-Japan, we can see that Asia ex-Japan has actually improved 10% in 2026 relative to a decline of 8.5% in 2025. Europe also up just about 4.1%, and commodity-reliant and commodity-heavy Latin America has advanced, in fact, 22.6% in 2026. Again, perhaps one of the beneficiaries of dislocation in Middle East energy markets, while in 2025 they were up just about 4.4%. So what can investors expect to drive equity markets as we move further into 2026? On the domestic front, macroeconomic conditions continue to be somewhat tepid at this particular point in time, but developments in the energy space, particularly in terms of domestic production and the domestic production outlook, seem to be turning positive with the prospects of improved natural gas production from both domestic as well as cross-border fields, certainly becoming a much higher probability based on media reports. Rising domestic interest rates continue to weigh on investor expectations and perhaps make equities at this particular point less attractive relative to potentially lower risk with higher certainty in terms of return. Fixed income options. Earnings trajectory, however, continues to be positive for most major blue chip equity listings on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, and that has resulted in ultimately attractive valuations for investors adopting a longer term mindset and willing to take equity risk as we move through a particular economic cycle, with perhaps some more positive outlook in the medium term. At the international level, geopolitical tensions will continue to lead to overall market volatility, both in the financial markets as well as commodity prices, resulting in ultimately slower GDP growth as energy costs weigh on real GDP activity or real GDP advancement across most major economies. And of course, that uncertainty in the geopolitical space and inflation space is going to rekindle interest rate uncertainty, which could lead a bit more to interest rate uncertainty as we move further into 2026. Well, that's it for this week's edition. For more information, you can give us a call at 2-BORSE or 226-8773. Email us at info@borsefinancial.com. And of course, you can check out our website, borseinvestment.com, where all of our research is absolutely free. So until next time, stay safe, happy investing, and we'll see you again on the Bourse Report.
Revival is coming to Trinidad and Tobago Christian Center. Dr. Apostle Judy Kareem presents Reverend Rachel Williams. Join us on Thursday, April 16th and Friday, April 17th for a time of prayer. Saturday, April 18th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Prayer and Faith Women's Conference. On Sunday, April 19th, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Kingdom Advance Men's Conference. Register early at 383-9395 McBean Stretch, St. Mary's Village, Carapachima, Trinidad and Tobago.
Through every storm and every sunrise, a familiar face and a trusted voice returns to your forecast.
This is where it all began.
Good afternoon, Sigourney. Welcome home. Welcome home.
Stronger, sharper, ready to serve you again.
2 minutes, the news.
Because when it comes to your weather,
I'm Sigourney Mohammed with your CNC3 weather forecast. It's good to be home.
The gripping crime series Suspects comes to your screen. Follow D.I. Martha Bellamy, D.S. Jack Weston, and D.S. Charlie Steele as they investigate crimes across the busy London landscape. Suspects takes you inside the Metropolitan Police as they fight for justice in London. Don't miss Suspects, only on CNC3.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Sportsmanship is when an athlete walks off the court and you can't tell if he won or lost because he carries himself with pride either way. This quote is an embodiment of sport, and for me, sport is an embodiment of life. We are where you are.
Filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
This is more than just music. This is where you find the best of TNT. This is more than just a vibe. This is where Bollywood gets a twist. This is more than just energy. This is Bhangra and indie pop too. This is the mix. This is the life. Lock on or log on now. Sangeet 106.1 FM. This is authentic East Indian radio. This is us.
Welcome back, Trinidad and Tobago, 6:27 on this beautiful Monday morning. We're going to get straight into the business of the day. We are joined by Derek Ramsamouj. He is one of our favorite political analysts on this show. And as soon as we did the check, I looked in the background and I said, something about that doesn't seem Trinidad. Tell me where you are this morning, Derek.
Good morning, sir, and good morning to all your listeners and the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I am in a little island called Barbuda, which is the sister island of Antigua and Barbuda.
And there's an election coming up there.
There is an election on the end of the month. Prime Minister Gaston Brown called the election, and the election is the end of this month for Antigua and Barbuda. In Barbuda, you have roughly about 1,500 voters, high in tourism, lots of donkeys, lots of goats, big, nice, small country. It's like Charlottesville in Tobago, very rustic. Hence my apologies, no jacket and tie.
That's all right. That seems like the perfect place to relax. But I know you're there to work, but let's talk about that. So you are there in Antigua and Barbuda, and all of that is part of CARICOM. And CARICOM, our family, is the ability to move within the chain of islands freely. But we are in a situation now where it seems like, or does it seem like, we're trying to leave this great Caribbean institution?
I believe it is unfortunate the conversations that have prematurely started is not credible because there is a lot of misinformation or no information that is put in the public space. What is at risk is people like myself with respect to the free movement of CARICOM citizens to work without any hindrance. What is at greater stake is the movement of our goods and services, not just in the financial world, but in the consumer goods, because we are exempted from certain taxes, and a number of our business community participants benefit from these exemptions. It is important that we understand that we have to put away the personal egos and do what is correct for the region. Let's learn the lessons of Brexit. when the United Kingdom, in its haste, chose to exit the European Union, and the entire immigration and trade pattern and financial well-being of the UK is the consequence of exiting an economic union.
But let's talk about this. The government has said that they don't want to leave CARICOM. So then what is all of this about?
It's about the following, and forgive me, I happened to be in St. Kitts at the time of the CARICOM conference, and it was widely known that the Prime Minister's presentation at the opening of the heads of government was not met with great poise. There was a lot of anger over the Brent Thomas conversation, and we must recognize that you're also dealing with a powerful personality like Mia Mottley. Immediately upon finishing that conversation, the Prime Minister and perhaps members of her entourage left St. Kitts and did not stay for the Prime Minister's retreat. It's a Prime Minister's retreat in Nevis that has happened on many other CARICOM heads of government meetings. Prime Minister Gaston Brown left because he was returning for a political campaign in Antigua Barbuda. So Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa left. And it's really a 5-minute ride across to Nevis. It's nothing, it's like going down the islands, so to speak. So it is unfortunate that the Prime Minister chose to adopt a Trump-like position when it comes to institutions, of raising the issue of money and raising the issue of withdrawing those funds. We must recognize that the Caribbean economy has changed, and people like Guyana and Suriname, and I dare say other small islands, are having greater economic success than was previously held when you had these financial arrangements. So I don't really believe CARICOM is going to miss much of the 20%. They will make the adjustments, and you have the economy. But can Trinidad afford any form of trade restrictions when it comes to making their commodities expensive? I am in Barbuda right now, and you have many Trinidad products in this part of Barbuda in the grocery.
That's a good point there, that you said that Guyana now has that money. They can be the power brokers. They are not in the position. And I'm glad you raised the issue of President Trump. When President Trump makes these braggadocious statements, it's usually to an end of enrichment for himself or enrichment for his friends. Like there's an end game to it. In your opinion, all of this, what is the end game of the Prime Minister's back and forth with CARICOM, and who will stand to benefit from it?
The end game of this is clearly to demonstrate a political ego that is larger than life, but short in reality. We must also recognize that there are a number of international positions, one of which I believe Trinidad is looking to acquire, and would require CARICOM's support. So the end game perhaps will be one, to use perceived influence to get the way that is favorable to Trinidad and Tobago. The politics and the geopolitics have changed immensely. The small islands basically get revenue from different tourism processes. They have oil and gas in a number of other countries. We have manufacturing in other countries. So we must understand Trinidad's reality. We could have had these huge, grandiose pronouncements maybe 2 decades ago, maybe 3 decades ago, but not now. Our economy has changed, and we have to collaborate and stop bluffing. If you're that serious, then sit and try to renegotiate tariffs with Trinidad and Tobago and say that you want to come out of the CARICOM trade agreement. If not, you just basically chatting for your ego's sake. And this notion about Trinidadians believing that, you know, they are the economic powerhouse. You used to be the economic powerhouse. And therefore, if you're saying you want to reduce your expenditure in CARICOM because your economy cannot afford it, then simply say so. But don't look for an excuse.
Yeah, so is it again, you said it, ego, it's all ego. If it is that we can't afford it, I mean, there's no shame in saying that. We could wait until we come back, we're in a better position, and then we join again. But if you're not at the table, and if you think of Hamilton, they talk about being in the room where it happens. Everybody wants to be in the room where it happens, but you are exiting the room, you're not entering it. How does that even help yourself in this situation?
Let me just give you a demonstration. In Barbuda, you have a lot of tourism. And you have tourism that's starting at about $1,200 US a night, $1,500 US a night. Robert De Niro is building a hotel here. Then compare that to Tobago's tourism. Let's look at those two products. We are not, Trinidad and Tobago is not at the CARICOM economic table when it comes to producing an economy that deals with oil and gas, like how it was yesterday, that deals with tourism, like how we have in the smaller islands, or even manufacturing, when you look at Jamaica's economy, or the environment, when you look at the Belizean economy, having the largest barrier reef in the Western Hemisphere. So we could have all this bravado chat, but the economic reality is Trinidad and Tobago cannot afford to lose any presence they have in CARICOM, either from the point of view of trading goods and services, or human beings moving up and down the region. Can Caribbean Airlines withstand a financial loss if it loses the routes to the other CARICOM countries like Jamaica and Barbados?
And we already see that is up in the air, and there's that talk about wanting to, people are suggesting shutting down Caribbean Airlines, and it seems as though our mouth is writing checks that the rest of us can't cash. And speaking of cash, we seem to not have any, but we seem to only be trying to bail ourselves out without trying to find a way to fix the hole in the leaking ship. So if you had to, sorry, go ahead.
It's like two men in stick fighting, one threatening to bust each other's head. But the reality is you have a small little one, and the region has a much larger, stronger stick.
And I think that's the thing. We've been punching above our weight class for so long that we do think that we're invulnerable. And it seems what you're explaining to me here is that the vulnerabilities are growing daily, and we're not understanding that we are no longer in that position to negotiate or to force people. We're not in that U.S. position of power that they have for them to be bullying people around.
We have this misconception of overestimating our strength. And as you say, we try to punch above our weight, but the reality is you can no longer do that because the other elements of the Caribbean economies are growing at a much stronger rate. Guyana is basically growing at about 8% minimum. Suriname is going to quickly catch up to that. So we are no longer the powerhouse, and what we need is diplomatic, strategic negotiations behind the scenes. You do not offend your fellow CARICOM leaders, more importantly, your fellow CARICOM citizens, by going into public space and making statements that you cannot substantiate.
And yeah, that diplomacy. And let's talk about the relationship with the United States. Is it that they are supposed to be the ones to bail us out in a Argentina-type situation? Is this why we're attaching ourselves so closely to them? And if so, when does that start to kick in?
Well, if you understand the Argentinian economy and the disaster from the time of the debt trap in basically the 1980s to right up to present day, you cannot depend on the United States to basically give you money for free. So we are not creating a wealth economy. What we're creating is a beggar economy. The time of begging, when you considered our resources not just in the natural oil and gas, but in the human resource, demonstrates that your Minister of Finance does not understand what is needed to turn the economy around, to make it sustainable, and to help with the development of a creative entrepreneur class. If you're going cap in hand begging, then you are admitting that all your economic policies of the manifesto were nothing but ink on paper. It's an admission of failure to manage the resources of the country, to create an independent or a substantially strong enough economy to trade in the region.
And we're also seeing close ties with India. Can they help us in any way in this situation?
Again, we're going begging. Mm-hmm. Don't we have any pride as a nation after so many oil and gas revenues? Whether it is the PNM or the UNC, there's a complete failure to develop an independently strong enough economy. Yes, there is geopolitics, and yes, there's independence, but is it that we're just depending on charity? So at some point in time, we will go to China, we'll go to India, cap in hand, saying, please, please, help me with a couple dollars, and I will give you this part of our economy. Absolute nonsense.
I think there's the important thing that we are not seeing nationhood. We keep seeing PNM and UNC, and we're not seeing Trinidad and Tobago and how we as a nation can move forward together. And one of the things about politics, when I was growing up, you realize that everyone had the same vision. Everybody just had a different way of getting there. I don't even think we have the same vision anymore. It's more, I keep saying, vengeance and not governance.
In the words of Donald Trump, wanting to make different countries a state of United States, is it that our Prime Minister is quite happy to make Trinidad and Tobago a borough of New York? Because that's what is coming over, that we want to affix ourselves to the United States, lose our national identity, lose our sense of pride in our people and our economy by saying we have to go cap in hand begging, following the policy of Donald Trump, not the United States, of Donald Trump. It's a Trumpism that she is attempting to practice in the region.
Derek Ramsbouch, thank you very much for your time, and we appreciate your thoughts on the matter. And I know you have a lot of work going on there in Antigua and Barbuda, and we'll check in with you there. I know their election is coming up, but a very important conversation that we just had here.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a great day, Trinidad and Tobago. All the best.
All right. And then, just remember this national pride. At the end of the day, I keep saying it, David Rudder said, how we vote is not how we party, but it also should be that we should have a little pride. As the song says, take our pride in our liberty. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Coming up next, we're going to have the Port of Spain Mayor Chinua Allen. He's talking about the funding crisis in regional corporations. Stay with us.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry. Premier insurance coverage for less.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
Your future is safe with us. No matter your age or where you're from, or what doors are open to each and every one. Your financial needs are sure to be met. At Police Credit Union, there's zero regrets. A variety of services that's accessible and reliable. Here to show you just what service is. Helping where we can, but with a smile. So grow with us today. We can do this together. We can secure the future.
Police Credit Union, your future is safe with us.
Period nights don't have to look like this. Move less, wake up to change. So change for a real night's sleep with Always Overnight. Its 3 times protection system absorbs, locks the fluid, and keeps it away from your skin. For protected nights without leaks. Always.
At Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center, we're all about time. In fact, once you check in, there's no time to lose. Reconnect with a little family time. Make a splash with some pool time. Spend some treasured quality time, or just immerse yourself in some quiet time. Indulge your senses at dinner time. We even have the perfect venue when it's your celebration time. So it's high time you visit Cruise Inn. Choose our day pass or call 607-4000 to make your dinner or hotel reservations, or to find out more about our event spaces. Take a time out at Cruise Inn Hotel and Yachting Center.
All right, Trinidad and Tobago, 6:47 on this beautiful Monday morning. Getting straight into it, I am joined by somebody you've never seen on this set before, because he tells me this is his first time doing morning television. Port of Spain Mayor Chinua Allen. So it's my pleasure to have you here, Chinua Allen. And we are discussing what you call the fiscal fiasco in regional corporations. So good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Kijan, and good morning to all of your viewers on CNC3 and all of the people of Port of Spain and the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
So this didn't start last week. This obviously would have started at the budget when you got a significantly less portion of the pie, so to speak. Since then, it's been about 6 months. And you called it a fiscal fiasco. There was a meeting held on Wednesday in San Fernando with all 14 corporations. Coming out of that, we now have the usual back and forth. The minister, Khadija Amin, is saying you're spending your money on FETs. You are saying we can't even afford garbage collection. What is the latest since then?
Well, I think that the minister's comments really serve as a distraction from, and does not represent the tenor of the conversation that happened in that meeting in San Fernando. Every single corporation, from Siparia to Chagonas to Diego Martin, every corporation complained that they did not have enough allocation, enough money to meet their salary obligations, to make payroll to public servants, to pay allowances, to pay NIS. Every single corporation complained. And so I found it strange that the message coming out from the meeting from the minister was about cultural and heritage activities. I view that really as a distraction. In the case of the city of Port of Spain, after the month of May month end is the last time that we'll be able to make payroll given our current allocation.
What does that mean? That means that in June, are you firing people, or people just you're gonna hope that they stay on and then you pay them when you get money?
Well, hiring and firing of civil servants is a matter for the Service Commission. It does not happen at City Hall. But the reality is that we will not be able to make payroll And that is a significant issue. It means that you may find yourself with some industrial unrest. You may find yourself with goods and services not being delivered. And I am here this morning to advocate on behalf of those public servants and by extension on behalf of all of the burgesses of the city of Port of Spain, who demand a clean city, who demand a safe city, who demand that we continue to deliver these services that we deliver. We will not be able to do that if we can't make payroll. And the reason we found ourselves here is that at the budget debate, some decisions were taken in terms of allocation, but the government on the campaign had made a commitment to the PSA and to public servants that they would settle negotiations at a particular rate. Sometime in late November, early December, that happened, and all public bodies were directed to pay public servants an advance on their back pay. On January 1st, we also got, coming into force, the increased salaries for public servants. Neither the back pay nor the increased salaries were budgeted for in this financial year, so that the corporations in local government and I dare say across the government sector, the corporations were directed to use their existing allocation to pay the back pay and to pay the increased salaries, which means that we took the money for July, August, and September to pay back pay, so that now we're coming to the point where we're short of cash.
So with no additional funds given, you were told to pay additional salaries?
Written instruction coming from the ministry, a directive to pay an advance on back pay by December 23rd of 2025, so before Christmas, a partial cash payout based on the settled negotiation, but that allocation came from our allocation to make payroll for the entire financial year.
Now, coming up soon is mid-year review, and this is where there's additional money given. Was there any commitment given by the government that they may supply that in the upcoming mid-year budget review?
So I am not sure what is going to take place. I sincerely hope that in the mid-year review, the good sense prevails, but some corporations may not make it to the mid-year review. I can speak on behalf of Port of Spain and what our financial situation is, but you may find that based on the allocation of a specific corporation, how many public servants they had to pay back pay for, what classification those public servants were in, and how much back pay they had to be paid, every corporation will find themselves in a different but similarly disastrous financial situation.
Now, you did say that the UNC corporations had this same issue, but they would have gotten boosts in their allocation after the budget, and that's still not enough, you're saying?
So the way that public money works, and one of the things that I recognize coming out of the minister's comments is that the minister is relying on the public not understanding how public money works, not understanding the budget process. We have a line item in our budget called salaries and COLA. That money can only be used to pay salaries. We have a line item in our budget for uniforms. That money can only be used to pay uniforms. So to suggest that monies are being taken to throw fat and all sorts of things is really disingenuous.
I understand that. And this was something that happened in one of her first meetings where she said, well, why don't you take money from here and pay some people for part-time work? This is after the CPEP thing. And you were explaining that to do that, you even need permission from the Ministry of Finance.
Correct.
To even take money from X and put it in Y.
Correct. So to move money from one line item to another, that's called a virement. You can't do that by yourself. The council has to take a decision. That decision has to be transmitted to the Ministry of Local Government. The ministry has to come and audit it and approve it. Then it has to be transmitted to the Ministry of Finance, who also does their checks and gives the approval. So that process takes time. It is for that reason that, generally speaking, corporations do not touch the money in the salaries line item.
Yeah.
When you do your draft estimates, when you do your budget, you prepare your estimates of revenue and expenditure for the next financial year. You say, okay, I have X number of members of staff. This is what it's going to cost to pay them for 12 months. You submit that and you get the allocation. What has happened here is that corporations were directed to use that allocation to pay back pay, and then there was an increase in salaries. And so there was never enough allocation for any corporation to make payroll for the entire financial year.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, again, a statement I made earlier, your mouth writing checks that clearly the corporation can't cash now. So what happens? Let's talk garbage. You've raised this issue for months now, the situation of being able to simply pick up garbage. If you can't pay the garbage workers, or you can't pay anybody who's doing this a trickle-down effect, what do you think will be the first thing to go that you're most worried about? What's keeping you up at night with this situation?
Well, firstly, let me say, as you said, I have raised this issue about our cut in funding for garbage collection. Our funding has been cut by about 37% for garbage collection. It is significant. We've made whatever adjustments we can make with our contracted service. West of Charlotte Street, we do the garbage collection internally with our own staff and fleet. And east of Charlotte Street, we have contractors. We've made whatever changes we can make, but the reality is that by the end of June, the city of Port of Spain is going to run out of money to pay for our garbage collection in East Port of Spain. It means that we will not be able to afford to pay garbage contractors in East Port of Spain, and we're going to find ourselves with a significant public health crisis.
Do you have the ability to raise funds, a GoFundMe for the Port of Spain Corporation? There has to be something, and it's sad that the capital city, the capital of the country, is pretty much trying to have a big sale just to pay salaries. But if it comes to that and we have to do it, is there an option, and big sale is a joke, but is there an option to go out and independently raise funds, get loans or whatever to handle the situation?
This again is an area where we need to be clear about how public money works. You would hear me use the word allocation, and then you may hear me use the word cash. Those two things are not the same thing. When you do in public budgeting and you go into the parliament, in the parliament they are debating what to allocate. So it's an allocation, which is just a number on a piece of paper. As the Ministry of Finance, whether it's via the Board of Inland Revenue or Customs or what have you, as revenue is collected, the government will decide through the Ministry of Finance how much cash to send to each public body. So that whereas you may be allocated $100, you may only be sent $90 in cash. So there's a difference.
Right.
In the case of being able to raise your own money, and corporations can do that, whether it's charging fees for vending, charging to rent public spaces or what have you, even if you raise $100 million in cash, if the Parliament has only given you a $1 million allocation, you could only spend $1 million.
Really? So even if you raise all that money, you can't spend that money how you wish?
You can only spend what the Parliament has allocated to you to spend.
Who came up with that rule?
Well, those are the rules of public budgeting, right? And it is so that there is control over fiscal policy.
Right. I guess you don't want it being spent willy-nilly, but you still you should have options as far as it seems as though.
Well, I think a good first option is to make sure that there's enough allocation to make payroll.
All right. A very dire warning there, Chinua Allen, Port of Spain Mayor. This better not be his only time on this show, but I am very glad because that he is here. We have a time. I'm told you need to stay right here. We're going to be back with you after the news. Stay with us.
Time Check, brought to you by the Central Bank and the National Financial Literacy Program.
Good morning, I'm Soini Gray with Headline News on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. A late-night police operation on Saturday has led to the arrest of a woman and her teenage son after they allegedly held a mother of two against her will for months, subjecting her to beatings, burns, and death threats. The victim, Sabita Basdeo, broke free from her captors on Saturday night after Commissioner Alistair Guevara mobilized a team to search for her. Investigators say Mrs. Basdeo had been under duress for years, kept away from her family and forced to perform domestic labor without pay. Her husband, Crisendeo Basdeo, gave thanks for the president of the Red Cross Society, Edward Moody, and Police Commissioner Alistair Guevara, saying if they had not intervened, his wife would be dead.
How she doing things what she not supposed to do, right? And then beating the girl. Right, and when the girl talk, then they say, then she talk, then we're going to kill she.
Basdeo has since received medical attention, and charges of false imprisonment and assault are expected to be laid against the penal woman and her 17-year-old son. Chairman of the North Central Regional Health Authority, Dr. Tim Gopi Singh, has submitted a report to the Prime Minister pointing to sweeping financial reforms, improved governance, and expanded healthcare services. His report was made public Sunday via the United National Congress's Facebook page. In it, Dr. Gopi Singh describes an institution grappling with serious and deeply rooted challenges. Among the issues flagged, $330 million in debt, irregular expenditure, and procurement breaches. His report points to a restructuring of the nursing pool overtime system as part of broader cost-cutting efforts. It comes against the backdrop of Friday's massive nurses' protest over wages and working conditions. The opposition leader, Penelope Beckles, has responded to his report, labeling the government a threat to the healthcare system. And the search continues for a Princestown man who went missing during an outing to the Bunsey Mud Volcano on Saturday. 57-year-old Ruthven Ian Atkinson was part of a hiking group when he walked ahead of them and failed to return. Members of the group initially searched for him but were unsuccessful, prompting a much larger search operation. Up to late on Sunday, teams including hunters and volunteers familiar with the terrain were combing the dense forest and rugged landscape surrounding the site. The area is known for its difficult conditions, which can make navigation challenging. Anyone with information is being urged to contact police at 800-TIPS. Those were your 7 a.m. news headlines. We'll have another news update at 8 a.m. on the TBC Radio Network.
All right, thanks for staying with us in the second hour. It's just about 3 minutes past 7. Port of Spain Mayor Chinua Allen has agreed to stay with us for a little while longer. Again, he don't come often, so we're going to take all the time that we can get out of him before he has the city to run. So my next question. Can all of this be solved by local government reform, whether it's going forward or the local government reform that was put forward by the former administration?
I'm not sure that this problem will be solved by reform in local government, at least not in the corporation. Perhaps it will be solved by reform in the local government ministry in terms of the approach to public budgeting and ensuring that there's sufficient allocation for corporations to deliver the goods and services they have to deliver.
But as you said, this has been going on for so long. This is just how public money works. How do you change something that's been so intrinsic to who we are as a government, whether or not it works?
Well, the Exchequer and Audit Act has in it the financial regulations that outlines a significant part of the budgeting process. And there are also the financial instructions and other documents that guide the process. But the issue here is not the procedure. The issue here is a policy decision. A decision was taken to not budget for what the government intended to do in terms of settling wage negotiations. Kijan, this may be why you may have seen in the past a responsible government would say, we settle the negotiation this year and we make the payout in the next fiscal. So you settle the negotiation and then you plan for how you're going to pay the bill. To be able to settle and pay the bill in the same fiscal means that before everything was signed on the dotted line, you would have had to know the outcome, which wouldn't make sense because there's a negotiation. It is collective bargaining. So you could not have known the predetermined outcome. So that it, to my mind, was not fiscally prudent to commit the resources of the Port of Spain Corporation and all corporations to pay back pay that had not been allocated for. And so that we now find ourselves where we know for sure in Port of Spain, the end of May is the last time we're going to be able to make payroll with our current allocation. It's the last time we're going to be able to pay NIS. It's the last time that we're going to be able to pay allowances to public servants. It's the last time we'll be able to pay traveling to public servants. We know for us, it is the end of May. For another corporation, it may be the end of April. And so we are not in control of when the mid-year review takes place. What we are in control of is ensuring that we advocate for all of our burgesses. And I consider our members of the administration, our daily rated workers, I represent them too, right? We may have difference of opinions in meetings. We may have difference of opinions in terms of how council policies ought to be implemented. But they are a stakeholder that I also represent. Yeah. And if they are unable to be paid when the end of the month comes, then I have a significant challenge.
Because I do hear, I'm hearing and I'm sure them councillors still going on getting money. I'm sure Chinua money safe. Is your money safe at the end of this?
Well, what I can say is that the Salaries Review Commission is the body that is responsible for setting whatever the remuneration is for members of council. Members of council do not get a salary, they do not get a stipend, they get an honorarium because it is considered community service. So you get what's called an honorarium. Members of council do not get vacation, except for the mayor or chairman. So all of the councillors and aldermen get no vacation, no maternity leave, no medical plan, no gratuity, no pension, no benefits. And yet members of council come out and do the work that they have to do to represent their burgesses. I am here doing the work that I have to do to represent the burgesses of the city of Port of Spain by advocating on behalf of the members of the public service. There has been an increase in the compensation package for members of council. The back pay has been paid for some, but not for all. That situation persists. But today, my concern is ensuring that the city of Port of Spain can make payroll.
Yeah.
That is my single concern.
The small contractors who can't dig into some other fund as well to pay their bills if they don't get paid from the city for this month.
So that's really important because, as I said, in East Port of Spain, we have garbage contractors, and there are garbage contractors across the country. Many of them are small contractors. It's a small business that may own one garbage truck and one open tray truck. They may have 6 or 7 employees from the community, and they're picking up garbage in a community that they're familiar with. If those contractors go unpaid for a month, that business may have to close down. They don't have the bank to be able to afford to go 5 months and 6 months and 10 months without being paid.
And then you have the problem of, even if you get the money, if the business is closed down, who now takes that spot? So you still have a gap in the service.
This is why I describe our current situation as a fiscal fiasco. It is a fiasco in the finances of local government. There is an opportunity to fix it. So I was a little worried when the main message coming out of our consultation last Wednesday was about FET, because the meeting was not about that. Yeah. The meeting was about the dire financial situation. And so I hope to ensure that the main message coming out of the meeting, the real message, is loud and clear.
Now, you say that there's an opportunity to fix it, and usually this has just come with dialogue. When is the next meeting scheduled?
We do not have another meeting scheduled on this particular matter. My understanding is that the Ministry of Local Government in the not-too-distant future ought to submit to the Ministry of Finance the estimates for the mid-year review. I do not know when the mid-year review will take place. Last year, the mid-year review took place in June or July or thereabouts. Yeah. But even when the budget debate is complete, it takes time for the decision of the Parliament to become implemented.
Yeah, like you said, there's allocation, and then there's cash.
Correct.
Chinwal, and well, we hope that the conversation does continue. Maybe not on WhatsApp like you've seen other things happening, but behind closed doors. And thank you so much for coming. And well, we wish you all the best, because this is the capital of Trinidad and Tobago. It's Port of Spain. And if they're worried, what about all of the other places that may not have the same level of financial support? So we're going to keep an eye on this situation and so much more happening here in Trinidad and Tobago. And right here on TMB. But first, coming up after the break, we're talking about the financial cost of leaving CARICOM. We started that conversation with Derek Ramsamouj, and we continue it after the break with Roger Hossain. Stay with us.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Things don't always go as expected. Be ready with Trinry for auto, home, business and group life. Call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Huge insurance premium. Pay your premiums bit by bit with FlexiPay from Trinry. For more manageable auto, home and commercial insurance payments, call us at 800-TRIN or visit trinry.com today. Trinry, premier insurance coverage for less.
Step into a world of opportunities at CTS College, where education is beyond academics. Winner of over 50 world prizes, as well as ACTT Student Service Award. It's a college of your choice for quality education, guaranteed to unlock your true potential. Internationally recognized degree programs. Choose a degree that is right for you. Come in for your free career guidance session and start your future today with CTS College.
Struggling with blood sugar swings, high blood pressure, or stiff joints? Take control with Aja Nutrition's powerful wellness trio. Berberine Plus supports healthy blood sugar. Blood pressure support helps keep your pressure in check. And Joint Aid keeps your joints moving so you can stay active every day. Don't wait. Choose Aja Nutrition for trusted, effective solutions. Available at Pennywise and leading pharmacies nationwide. Feel better, move better, live better with Aja Nutrition.
Visit Tire Clinic Marketing, New Truck and OTR Tire Service Center at number 30 and 32 Montrose Main Road, Chabonas. Call today at 665-8973 or 672-3419. Alignment services available. Tire Clinic Marketing, Truck and OTR Service Center. A tire for every need.
Through every storm and every sunrise, a familiar face and a trusted voice returns to your forecast.
This is where it all began.
Good afternoon, Sigoni. Welcome home.
Stronger, sharper, ready to serve you again.
2 minutes, the news.
Because when it comes to your weather,
I'm Sigoni Mohammed with your CNC3 weather forecast. It's good to be home.
The fact that they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. So, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover. I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name.
About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth.
On sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I've been in Guardian since The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
The stories that are being covered are well detailed and you get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job on this speaking the truth, and you know they're challenging the government to make things better.
Me in particular, of recently, the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities, and I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
But The Guardian.
The Guardian?
Guardian. Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian. The Guardian is my first choice.
Attention all listeners, are you ready for the ultimate news experience? Introducing the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian, the nation's first and most subscribed newspaper. We deliver where others can't. With the widest delivery network in TNT, you can have the Guardian delivered right to your doorstep or office every single day. Take advantage of our special annual subscription offer so you can stay on top of the leading stories even when you're on the go. Sign up today. Time is running out. Inquire about our 3-month and 6-month packages as well.
Welcome back. It's about 7:16 here in Trinidad and Tobago, and we're going back to the topic of CARICOM, and we have Professor Roger Hussain on the show with us. He's been here many times. Good morning, Professor.
Morning. Thanks for the invitation.
Now let's do what you sent some notes. You've done a study, and my understanding of the study is that you're looking at our competitive imports over time, and you're comparing CARICOM trade versus outside CARICOM trade. And from what I understand is that at the end of the day, you are saying that trade within CARICOM will always be more beneficial to Trinidad and Tobago than outside. Did I get that right?
Well, not exactly in that format, not exactly in that manner. What I'm saying, and what the data in fact is saying, and it is clear, is that within CARICOM, if you were to define 4 states, let's call them A, B, C, D, where A is no comparative advantage, B is weak comparative advantage, C is moderate comparative advantage, and D is strong comparative advantage, then what you want is your firms and your sectors moving from one state of comparative advantage higher. Within the extra CARICOM market, that has proven to be very difficult. But within the intra CARICOM market, you see firms moving from A to B to C to D. And that's good, that's healthy, and that's what you want. So the intra CARICOM market, as Talua said, is an important testing ground, an important place for our firms to mature and become stronger and grow from weak or no comparative advantage into higher layers of strength. And the data is showing that. So all of this to say, yes, we have some disagreement with CARICOM. The Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs have been clear that they are not going to leave CARICOM, and we can't. We can't. We are a small nano state, 1.5 million people. We can't survive on our own. It's impossible. So what we have to very much so keep in mind is the deep-rooted importance of that CARICOM market for the Trinidad and Tobago economy. And you see it popping up with agro-processing. You see it popping up with manufacturing. You see it popping up with construction-related material. And in a whole host of areas, I looked at the importance of member states, their exports, our exports to them, and their imports. And in some cases, we account for as much as 8 to 10% of some of these member states' overall imports. So I don't see at any point in time that being a big issue. I hope I am reading it correctly, but leaving CARICOM to me is completely off the radar.
And let's do the comparative. Let's say we're not leaving CARICOM, but we are looking for broader markets, which is what we've been hearing. How does that competitive advantage look, let's say, if we were to trade with someone like the UAE or India? Do we have that quicker move from no advantage to strong, that A to B to C to D that you were talking about in CARICOM?
Well, India may not be the best example. India is very far away, and India, our trade with India is very small. We do whatever trade we can with them, especially in pharmaceuticals and whatnot, and we take that. Where there are a lot of opportunities for Trinidad and Tobago, and we have been exploring them more and more with time, is, for example, with Curacao, with Aruba, with St. Martin, with French Guiana, and these other areas. So there are places within the Caribbean and Latin America that are close to us in which we have something called trade complementarity. Now, to understand trade complementarity, you have to look at our exports and you have to look at these countries' imports. And if it is like this, it's not such a good fit. But if it is like this, it means that our exports align with their imports. Now, I have looked at the trade complementarity scores for Trinidad and Tobago with some of these possible trade partners. And what you find is that with Guatemala, for example, it's above 1. You want the complementarity to be above 1. It's above 1. With Panama, it's above 1. With Curacao, it's above 1. With India, it's also above 1, and China. So there are some opportunities there for us. It's always best when you are going to align. You know, you shouldn't be a basketballer and going to play football. At the same time, when you are looking for new markets and to expand your markets, you want to make sure that what you have to sell is what these countries want to buy. Mm-hmm. And so high trade complementarity scores that gives you a good tight fit as compared to a not so good fit is what we should be pursuing. And I am seeing some of that in the work of the Ministry of Trade as they look for trade partners. I looked at Ghana. Surprisingly, Ghana had a low trade complementarity score, so that maybe be based on other factors. I don't know what the Ministry of Trade is thinking there. But trade complementarity, for me, is a critical first step when we look to enter new markets.
That's what you're telling me there is that at the end of the day, you just have to live good with everybody, because some of these places that you have called are still even also knocking on the door of CARICOM trying to join. So there's no way that we should be trying to leave it just yet. Whether or not we want to do all of that.
Trinidad and Tobago cannot leave CARICOM. We are a tiny nation state of 1.5 million people.
So then why are we picking this fight with them? What is the end goal? What are we getting out of this?
Well, I can't say. We would have to ask the Prime Minister that, to the Minister of Foreign Affairs. What I would say is that if there is some discontent, work out your business, go back to the table, hung up, and fix this problem. But Trinidad and Tobago cannot leave CARICOM. That's one of our biggest markets, Jamaica, Guyana, Suriname, Barbados. They are big markets for us. When you look at our dominance of the CARICOM market, we have, if I use three-digit sectors, so the way trade data is run is you have aggregate trade data, then you have single-digit, 2-digit, 3-digit, 4-digit, 5-digit, up to 6, even up to 8-digit. If I take reasonable, easy to manipulate 3-digit data, and I look at the amount of areas in which we have comparative advantage or strength within CARICOM, and I look at the amount of areas other CARICOM countries have strength within CARICOM, we have 44 areas with strength within CARICOM as compared to, say, 9 for Suriname. We dominate CARICOM. Why would you want to leave that? And US dollars is US dollars regardless of where it comes from. So we have to be very careful. And I am not worried about that at all. I'm sure the powers that we know that we can't leave CARICOM. I'm sure, and the Prime Minister said as much. So I'm not even going to see that as a consideration.
But let's talk about our power in CARICOM, though. I was just talking to Derek Ramsamuja, and he is now saying that we may not even be that powerful anymore. You still have bigger players now. Guyana is probably now the moneymaker that we were back in the 70s and 80s. Do you see that as well, too, that we just don't have that economic power that we used to? And we need to kind of pat down a little bit.
Well, it's true. It's true. Our per capita GDP since 2015 has fallen 20%. The level of our GDP. Since 2015, real GDP in Trinidad and Tobago has fallen 20%. And whilst the medium term, if you look at the data, and I look at this data intensely, 25 and 26 would be slow years. Well, 25 was a slow year and 26 is another slow year. From 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, you are going to see some more buoyant numbers. And so we are not going to catch up with the per capita, with the GDP growth rate of Guyana and soon to be Suriname. But we are still right there at the top as one of the biggest players within CARICOM from a number of different angles. We have the largest manufacturing sector and so on. And we continue to build on what we have. But I don't see this chatter about leaving CARICOM as having any merit at all. Let's
crunch some more numbers. Let's crunch some more numbers. What we're talking about, what we've heard also in this conversation is that Trinidad and Tobago contributes 22% of CARICOM's funding. Is it that we just don't have the money and we're too ashamed to say it, and so this is why we're kicking up all of this fuss? Can we afford to keep playing at 22%?
Well, $20 million a year, I don't see that as being a draconian and end of the world. What the Prime Minister is saying is that, and she's entitled, if it is, I am funding CNC3. Let's say this was a state company, and I am giving you 22% of your funds. You are not going to be doing a certain nonsense. I'm going to tell you in some way when I think you cross the line. And I think in a similar way, if the Prime Minister is contributing up to 22% of the funds to CARICOM, and in her judgment, she thinks there are areas to fix, I don't see any harm in raising it. Of course, you have to raise it with a view to resolving the matter and to pushing it forward. But certainly if I am funding CNC3 22%, I will have a say in what you all broadcast.
But if Guyana now has the ability to take that 22% and they say, you know what, save your money, we got this. The Secretariat is already based in Guyana. Does that put us at a disadvantage where we no longer have that sort of, we can't push people around anymore?
Well, I don't think anyone pushes anybody around in CARICOM. I think the Prime Minister had an issue and she raised it. But remember, CARICOM is about trade, it's about the implementation of a common external tariff behind which small firms could grow. This has been around for so long, there are well-established rules, so that as long as you do not violate the intra-CARICOM rules of trade, as long as you don't violate things like the rules of origin, as relates to the goods and services that are traded within the region, you are good to go. And we also have the Caribbean Court of Justice there for resolving matters that may arise from time to time. So, yes, there may be changes in the level of GDP of some of the firms within CARICOM, but Trinidad and Tobago is not a small fry, and the medium-term outlook for this country is the brightest it has been for the last 10 years. I mean, if you look at some of the Reuters comments where you see there's a possibility of 20 TCF of gas on the horizon, there are some things that are giving us room for smiling and room for hope. It's just how we manage it going forward. Don't want to get into conflict. You want to, you want to only carefully increase your expenditures. You want to manage your limited stock of foreign exchange, because we were left in a disastrous position. The difference between debt and reserves as we speak is about minus 1.3 billion. So it's a lot of work to do. I don't envy the ministers of them. It's a lot of work to reform this country. I know the data very well, and I can tell you it's a long road ahead. but there are some opportunities and some bright spots. And you have to, you don't always throw your hand out wildly. You keep them here and you proceed with caution.
What is the private sector saying in all of this? They're rather quiet. They stand to lose a lot if these things keep going the way they're going. So what you hearing on that regard?
I have a lot of confidence in TTMA, and I have seen the TTMA speaking out. And they have been talking. They did say they are also talking to the private sector in other CARICOM countries. And remember that these CARICOM countries, let's say the price of something is $8. When you implement the common external tariff, it goes to D dollars. If Trinidad and Tobago price is at C dollars, which is less than D, then member states will buy from Trinidad and Tobago. So it's not as if this thing is marble pitch or fun and games. The other member states that purchase Trinidad and Tobago goods within CARICOM are purchasing it because the price level of the goods offered from Trinidad and Tobago are lower than the price level of goods from abroad plus the common external tariff. So it's no favor per se. Once you are part of CARICOM, you benefit from the common external tariff, and whoever is the most efficient dynamic player captures most of the market. So I'm seeing our private sector, yes, they are cautious, but the life has to go on, and at some point in time, the private sector would also have to speak out to the government towards, ensuring that everybody is on the same page.
But as of now, it seems as though nothing has really affected their pockets just yet. This is still early days in this.
Early days because if it is, I have something to sell to you, and it is C dollars, which is less than D dollars that you have to buy from someone else, and the quality is about the same, I can tell you, business for business, logic for logic, you would buy it from me. So right now, it is prices that are talking, not the discussion about the CARICOM that is talking. And people are buying our goods and services in the CARICOM region based on lower prices as compared to goods from the USA or other more efficient external countries that would come into the region but face a common external tariff. So for the time being, we are still part of CARICOM, so people are buying our goods and services, and I don't see that being disrupted. I just hope, though, and this is my personal view, not necessarily that of the university or any other institution I speak on, I am part of. I just hope the matter could be brought to a closure and there is a plan. So you have a discontent. I think Soba should write, Sean Soba should write, the CARICOM people asked for a meeting. There was a meeting, I believe, last Friday. We didn't go to. And we have to find a mechanism to resolve the matter. Maybe the CARICOM chair could fly down to Trinidad and meet with our Prime Minister. That's an option. But we have to find a way to resolve this matter. But these type of things have happened in the past and in more draconian ways as well. And we have resolved. We are a Caribbean family and we want to move forward. And again, let's keep in mind the Prime Minister has explicitly said
that she's not leaving.
We are not leaving CARICOM.
I do like that point that you made earlier, because there's a joke going around on social media where they say, listen, Trinidad could leave CARICOM, but you have to leave the snacks. There was a realization in Jamaica about a year ago that none of the snacks that they eat, that they grew up eating, came from Jamaica, that they were all from Trinidad. So we do have that sort of influence in the Caribbean, and I do love that you've brought this to us. Free movement, still important. I do want to get your thoughts, though. We raised this with Derek Ramsamuj, the importance of Caribbean Airlines. There's all these talks about whether or not Caribbean Airlines should close, not close, and just the closeness of CARICOM, the importance of Caribbean Airlines. What are you seeing right now with the airline and how we move forward with it?
What I found shocking about the airline is that a lot of bonuses were paid out from what I read, even though the airline made a loss. And I think they have to fix, therefore, their governance process and their bonus, the way they pay bonus. But if it is the market value of a ticket that, or the selling price of a ticket that they use currently is not sufficient to help them to break even, then we would have to raise the CARICOM and the prices that CAL charges on various routes. I have no problem with that. I think even to Tobago, if it is, I don't think we should subsidize it. That's my honest view. I think we can't afford it. I think with gas production as low as it is now, as compared to what it was, I think the price of a ticket should be linked to the level of gas production, for example.
But you think
we don't have the kind of money.
You think that's feasible in a place where people need to go back and forth? People in the Tobagonians need to come here for basic goods and services.
Who is going to pay for it if we don't have the money? You see, this is one of the things about Trinidad and Tobago. We keep talking about wanting to fix the economy, I'm fine with that and I'm totally on board. How do you fix the economy? By running a transfers and subsidies bill every year that is about 30 billion out of a total government outlay or budgetary expenditure, let's say 60 billion. So 50% of your money upfront goes in transfers and subsidies. Well, I'm the wrong economist you are talking to. Maybe somebody else will have to talk about that, because
I'll put it to you this way: is the role of the government simply to balance the books, or is the role of the government to serve the people? And if it can serve the people by creating at least this subsidy, should you not keep it?
Yeah, and then you continually run fiscal deficit, and you do what? You run huge external debt, and you squeeze the people tomorrow with higher tax rates, and you don't have money remaining when interest payments escalate to send children to primary school and to help with healthcare. Come on, we have to be more reasoned than that in the way we approach some of these things. But
then you isolate Trinidad from Tobago, and then the Tobago tourism market is already mostly from Trinidad. If it's too expensive, why am I going there when I could just fly to Miami for cheaper?
No, I don't think it's so simple. In National Geographic rank Tobago, I think about 4 years ago, of one of the top ecotourism destinations in the world. We love Tobago. We will go to Tobago for a holiday anytime and all the time, because it's part of us, and we love Tobago.
And it's cheap.
So if you increase the ticket a little bit, $300-400 or whatever, that's not going to change anything. Trinidadians will still go across there. Tobagonians are still going to come here. The thing there is something called the reality of the matter. So we can't talk about fixing Trinidad and Tobago, and then when the time comes to do the hard work to fix it, we start to talk about we need subsidy here and subsidy there and subsidy there. Who's going to fund all these subsidies? Where are we going to get the money?
Oil and gas? Or what's left of it? Or maybe CARICOM?
I hope people know that the external debt is now the highest it was since 1956. Yeah. The difference between reserves and external debt is about minus 1.3 billion. And the economy is in a very trying state. So let all the people that want subsidy at least read the review of the economy and see some of these numbers, because it's not a nice position and it's a lot of work moving forward. Definitely some changes would have to be made, even and we have to be careful and calm and work as a team, keep the humanity aspect of it on board, keep the practicality aspect of it on board, and fix as we go along. But we simply cannot continue to have the lifestyle of subsidies that we did when natural gas production was about 4,400 mmcf per day, when it is 2,600 mmcf per day. It's impossible. So we have to make some hard, tough decisions.
Professor, thank you very much. The takeaway I'm getting from this, eat little, live long. And I'm a little glad that you're not the Minister of Finance, all right? We might be eating very little.
Yeah, I would have fixed this country. I would have fixed it. I can do it. Yeah. Have a good day.
Professor, thank you very much. All right, let's take a break. So much to talk about today. We've spoken so much already, but so much to talk about more when we come back. Stay with us.
Step into ABC Doors and Windows, where quality meets variety. Discover premium wooden, steel panel, fiberglass, and steel security doors alongside aluminum, UPVC, and steel windows designed for strength and durability. At ABC, we're always a better choice, delivering products built to last and service you can rely on. Visit our showroom at 1 Chanka Trace, El Socorro South, or call 638-7184 to make your dream home a reality.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The message of peace and harmony. The name Islam literally means peace, amity, and concord. It is therefore the desire of the message of peace and harmony to highlight the true essence of the teachings of Islam. Hence, a weekly TV program on Fridays on CNC3 at 5:30 a.m. Love for all, hatred for none. Assalamu alaikum.
Parents will do it, they'll go to work, have a day, bro, and come on and take that stress out on you.
Welcome to another episode of Manhood.
Everybody will do what they need to do to get what they want.
And if they can't fit in to the norms, then what do they do? They're surviving.
Not everybody wants to kill me because I might be all kind of thing, but I think I'm a good person.
The aspect of a mentor seeing something in you that you can't see in yourself.
Check yourself, because you shape that generation.
Are we losing in many ways the values?
Since I have this Parkinson's diagnosis, there's a group, a very small group, type group, who will always look after me.
Our connection is reliable, credible, and authentic. Thank you for trusting me to bring you the news. It's a privilege to be in your homes and hearts. With every story and every newscast, CNC3 is keeping you informed and inspired. When it comes to news, we are where you are.
The fact that they ask the questions, those challenging questions that no other media house would ask. So, shed light on those things that are in the dark, those stories that no one else wants to cover.
I grew up reading The Guardian, actually. It's a household name.
About The Guardian, one thing that I like, the human interest stories have increased.
See the investigative pieces on the human trafficking. I find that very interesting.
You go more in depth.
On sports, especially local sports, and that's one of my highlights for The Guardian.
Yeah, I've been in Ghana since The Guardian started coming out, started working. I was a newspaper man.
Could the stories that are being covered are well detailed and you get more facts.
Also, I think the editorials, I think they're doing a good job on this speaking the truths, and they're challenging the government to make things better.
Me in particular, of recently, the last 2-3 months, I've been reading The Guardian. I'm seeing a lot of news about the neighborhoods and the communities, and I even saw my community featured, and I was proud.
Oh, The Guardian.
The Guardian?
Guardian.
Guardian.
The Guardian.
The Guardian.
Trinidad Guardian.
The Guardian is my first choice.
All filmmakers, producers, content creators, influencers, and recording artists. If you're looking to rent a versatile studio space with green screen, video wall, cyclorama, and more, look no further. GM Labs is here to make your dreams a reality. Located in the heart of Port of Spain on St. Vincent Street, GM Labs is your one-stop shop for all your creative needs with over 2,800 square feet to work with. Take your creative concept to the final product at GM Labs. Give us a call or WhatsApp or message us on our Instagram and Facebook pages at GM Labs TT.
Make sure you have yourself a great investment week by viewing the Bourse Report every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. during CNC3's The Morning Brew. You'll get sound financial advice, whether you're a new or experienced investor, when you view the Bourse Report. CNC3, covering your world.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
I got a bone to pick with you. Ladies, I'm talking about that 90-day thing.
Well, how that's bothering you?
Oh, but tell you how it's bothering me. I figure like this, ladies, if you're in your 20s, wait 90 days. If you're in your 30s, wait 60 days. If you're in your 40s, wait 30 days. But if you're over 50, jump on it.
All right, coming down to the last quarter of the show. You know how to find us, but we like to remind you just in case you forgot. So make sure if you want to be on the show, if you have thoughts about what we could do better, hit us up on email at tmb@cnc3.co.tt. That's where you can find us, book your shows, let us know, and just confirm when you come in and make sure that you are here when we do book you. And our social media, you know where to find the CNC3 News on Instagram, CNC3 Television on Facebook, CNC3 TV on X, formerly Twitter, and I think our YouTube page is now CNC3 Television Prime if you want to watch the live stream of our newscast every night. Next, we have the app. If you want to find us there, that's where we also stream our newscast, whether it's at 12 o'clock or 7 o'clock or right now, TMB. You can get all of the information there, and of course the Guardian website, where we populate all the major stories of the day, whether it's breaking, whether it's long form, anything along those lines. You know where to find us. And something to think about. Let's go into the thought of the day. Unity is strength, and when there is teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved. I think that's been the theme of our show today, especially as we talk CARICOM and the unity that is required there. Even though things may separate us, we are better together. All right, so now we are talking revival. It's everything in one. It's a conference. It's a spiritual rebirth, as I was learning, and to talk more about it, we're joined by Reverend Rachel Williams and Evangelist Giles Stevens. So good morning to both of you, and I welcome you, and I hope that you can enlighten the public as to what all of this is about. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning.
Rachel Williams, I'll start with you. I was trying to get it down to one word of what this experience is, but you had a lot, and I'll let you explain it to the public now.
Well, we just want to invite you to a spiritual rebirth and an anointed weekend of spiritual empowerment. We hope that you will come. All the events are free, and just come and receive and be blessed.
And it's at the Greater Love Christian Center that is located in
Caripachima, Trinidad and Tobago.
Nice.
McBean, I believe it's McBean Stretch.
All right, I'm not familiar with it, but I let people should know the area. Evangelist Giles Stevens, welcome to the show. What is your role in all of this?
Well, thank you for having me. It's a joy to be with you, and we're getting more and more excited about the coming weekend where the event takes place. And one of the main focuses really is at a conference is to be transformed in order to be a transformer. So for us, conferences are times to receive both wisdom from above, anointing in the Holy Spirit, vision so that you can advance, or people can advance in their own lives and their own ministries. But you need to receive in order to give. You need to, we like to say, the miracle in you or the miracle through you can't be greater than the miracle in you. So it's a time to come and be blessed, to be refreshed by the anointing of the Spirit, so that ultimately Trinidad can be transformed, can be blessed. That's the whole purpose of the weekend, and that's why, as Rachel's saying, I think it's something that everybody can participate in and really come away much, much richer in a spiritual sense.
And that's that's really important. That sense of community, a lot of people say that that's being lost. And this is a time to come together with your friends or meet new people and just get to just be around a common good vibe for once.
Yes.
So for people who aren't sure, who may have never been, what are these things like?
Well, for the Women's Conference, you will come and hear some powerful messages from speakers that we are bringing with us, from powerful speakers. You will hear a message on prayer and how even Jesus prayed, and a message on Hannah and how she prayed, and many, many more. We just want you to come and be blessed and receive, and God is gonna, do a great thing in your life. We look for anyone who's out there who's sick or who's going through issues of life. We just want you to come and be at peace and experience the joy and the love we share from the love of Jesus Christ.
So for the men's conference, so it's a women's conference and a men's conference. Is there any great difference in this?
Well, I think overall it's the same, but we do have specific focuses that are slightly different. For example, in the men's conference, we're going to be talking about how you are loved, how you are blessed, how you've been set free, how you're called to be an overcomer in life. And we've discovered that through Christ Jesus, through what he's done for us, all these blessings can be received by faith. It's not by stressing or by striving, but it's by resting in his finished works, by trusting what he's done for us, that these wonderful blessings come to us. And I like to say things like this, if you know that you are supremely loved, not just by a father or mother or even a spouse, but by the creator of the universe, then the knowledge of that will actually take you further, cause you to overcome obstacles that others perhaps are overcome by. And so it's the revelation or the knowledge of being loved, the knowledge of that God is with you and for you and not against you. These kind of things actually make a real difference in people's everyday lives, because we all have challenges, we all have giants to face and mountains to climb, but it's the inner revelation of God's presence, God's goodness, the fact that he's gone before you, the fact that he's got a portion of grace that's available to you each and every day to help you get through. Those are the things that really make you overcome in life. So the men's focus, we're really here to, or coming to really equip the men to be great leaders in society and in the kingdom of God.
That's really good. I think men all need love anywhere that they can get it. And we always told to be strong and all of that, but sometimes we just want a little bit of love too. What I do love with these interviews is when people share maybe their favorite testimonial of someone who came and benefited from your preaching. Does anyone have any of those stories that you can share with us? What stood out to you guys?
We do have testimonies, so we don't want to tell you over the television. We want you to come and hear it. It's powerful testimonies that we're going to share. I mean, it's powerful. It's life-changing. So we encourage you to come and hear these powerful testimonies from men and women who have been blessed, who have been healed, who have been seeing transformation by God.
Let me add to that. I mean, we do have hundreds, to be honest, tens of thousands of extraordinary testimonies of people's lives who have been transformed at these events. And, the list would go on and on of healings and people being set free and so forth. But, in essence, as I said earlier, when somebody realizes that they are forgiven, for example, of everything, all the bad decisions that they've made, that they no longer need to be under that sense of guilt or shame or condemnation, those things really weigh people down. And so when we show that in Christ, forgiveness is available for no matter what you've done, no matter how many times you've done it wrong, God's grace is sufficient, then that sort of dark cloud lifts and that heavy weight of oppression comes off people's backs. And so now they can run again. And so this is a common testimony. It may look different in people's everyday lives, but really it's life transforming. And so we like to say that your past doesn't need to determine your future once you involve Christ in it. It's absolutely extraordinary. You'll see lives being transformed before your eyes if you come and join us.
And this is 4 days. It starts on the 16th and ends on the 19th.
The 19th.
and let people know where they can get more information if they want. I mean, we have the number up on the screen. If there's a website, let people know how to find you.
Okay, so you can call the number that's up on the screen, and our first event will be on Thursday, April 16th. It's called a high tea, pastors and leaders reception from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And we would ask that you register for this one before Wednesday because we are serving refreshments. Also, we have that same night on the 16th at 6:30 our end time revival service. Also on the 17th, at 6:30 p.m., we also have our second night of End Time Revival service. And on Saturday, the 18th, we have our Women's Prayer and Faith Conference starting at 10 p.m. to 5 p.m. Every woman who comes out to this women's conference will receive a free gift. We also have prayer, worship, powerful testimonies, powerful preaching. We have Jaron Nurse, who will be performing at the end. We also have for you free consolation prize. And we also have a free promotion for this event, for the Women's Conference. If you bring 20 women or more, you will receive a special gift. And also on Sunday, April 19th, we have our men's conference, our men's advanced conference starting at 3 p.m. Also the same, all men who come will receive a free gift. We have also free consolation prizes. We have, if you also bring 20 men or more, you will get a special gift. And all these events are free events. So come on and enjoy and be at peace, and you will be blessed.
That's the most amount of times I've heard the word free in a very long time. So I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to it. I don't even think I know 20 people to bring, so I don't even know if I can do that. But it seems like it's the more the merrier sort of situation. Don't hold back. So this is a great, so April 16th to 19th, it's at the Greater Love Christian Center in CARICOM. I'm going to put it in ways if you don't know where it is. Giles Stevens, I give you the last word, and you can leave us with your thoughts, a word of prayer, anything that you want to make sure that we take home, a little nugget of goodwill this morning.
Yeah, I think one thing I would like to emphasize is that we live in a day and an age where there are many coaches and self-help books around and so forth telling you and trying to help you change your lives. And that may be good for the business world or the sports field. But really what we're presenting here is something quite different. It's not about you trying to change yourself. It's about you allowing the Lord to change you. We've discovered that the transformation that really we need isn't an outside-in transformation, it's an inside-out one. So the Lord's Spirit and His Word comes on the inside of us and literally regenerates us or renews us so that we think differently and act differently and have different priorities and passions. And so this is all done not so much by stressing or striving, but by resting and allowing the Lord to minister to you. So we would say, and I'm going to use an analogy here, and I hope you don't find it too irreligious, but when you go to the beach and you sunbathe, you literally get bronzed by the sun and you come out different. In some ways, that's what the conference will do, except we're not talking about the natural sunlight. We're talking about the Sun of Righteousness, or the Lord Himself, shining upon us and transforming us as we rest in His presence, as we receive these great ministry words, the messages that will come, the prayers, the anointing that will be transferred. You'll definitely come out differently than you went in, and for the better. So come, enjoy, rest, relax. It's a time of transformation. We're going to be transformed to be transformers, and that's why we believe Trinidad is going to go from glory to glory and from strength to strength. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And talking about the beach in the Caribbean is not irreligious at all. It is its own religion. So thanks both of you. Thanks to Rachel and Giles, and we thank you, Trinidad and Tobago, for being a part of the show. We are almost done with the first show of the week, and by now, if you're not already in work, you should be getting close to work. If your kids aren't in school yet, they should be close to school. Just remember, we've been just talking about this 80% of success is just showing up. Thank you for showing up. Thank me for showing up. Sometimes it's a little hard at this hour in the morning, but I do it for you, and we do it because it's the right thing to do. I want to thank everybody who was part of this show. Thank you to them for showing up. And we see you right back here tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock here on CNC3.